I am with Marco Minardi, director of the Institute of the Resistance, Institute of Historical Resistance in Parma, and who is giving us today a small talk about the Fontanellato events. Thank you, Marco, for your availability. We wanted to ask you about your book, who describes the enormous help given to the ex-prisoners by the local Fontanellato people. Why do you think they were so willing to help the former enemy?
Well, first of all, they were hoping that this would bring to the end of the war. The most important thing for the Italians in that summer of '43 was that war ended. Mm-hmm. Helping what the fascists and the Germans would call enemies was one way of trying to get rid of the war. But there was also other reasons. They found young men who needed help, who were in danger, who were going to be caught and taken to the concentration camps. And that thing probably convinced them that they had to help them. And this made them, in some way, become enemies of the fascists and the Germans.
The Germans arrived at the camp soon after the prisoners had fled, basically. Are you surprised that they did not discover them hiding at the Rovacchia stream that was nearby?
Well, it probably surprised everyone. Mm. But if we think that the German army that arrived in Italy had other problems more important than capturing prisoners of war, British, American, Greek, Yugoslavian, they would have caught them afterwards in the weeks that followed. They were planning they had to organize themselves to get hold of the main army strongholds. They had to control the streets, and so when they arrived at the camp and there were no longer any prisoners, they said, well, we'll catch them tomorrow, next week, it's no problem. Where will they go? There are strangers in a strange land, no one will help them, and they will be caught.
Some of the people who assisted the former prisoners suffered imprisonment or were shot. One was taken to Mauthausen and never came back. Did the local population take revenge after the war against the fascists?
Well, in Fontanellato, no. The end of the war ended very quickly, and the people of Fontanellato were very keen on leaving behind what had happened during those 20 months and start a new way of living and try and follow what the democratic parties, the anti-fascist parties, were trying to do to start a new life. In other parts of Italy, the civil war, which was part of the liberation struggle, carried on for a couple of months before everything stopped.
Did the events of September 1943 leave a lasting mark of Fontanellato and the surrounding area? Do younger people know about them?
Yes, I think so. I think even if it's already 80 years ago, this event, yes, it is in the public memory, mainly because the municipality, the democratic parties, the anti-fascist parties, after the war, spoke about this event. They made meetings, books. It became a public memory because they wanted it to become so. And also the San Martino Trust, but mainly the sons and the prisoners came back to Fontanellato. If no one spoke about this event, if no one commemorated the 8th of September, if no one spoke about it, it would have been a lost memory. As sometimes I I try to remember in Busseto, which is 20 kilometers from there was another prisoner of war camp, PG 55, but no one knows about it because no one has ever spoken about it, and it's a lost memory.
Now, the Monte San Martino Trust and the network of historical institutes in Italy plan to conduct more research about the Allied presence in wartime in Italy, in particular the Poe story. What could we learn from this?
Well, I think we could learn a lot of things. First of all, the relationship between the prisoners of war who reach the mountains and meet the partisans group. How do they participate to the resistance movement? Do they do it? Or do they just live with the partisans while they are trying to reach the southern Italy and their army? We can learn about the violence inside the camps, how the Italian guards or commanders treated the British prisoners. No one has ever spoken about the violence on the prisoners by the Italian guards, but there were. We can learn what the prisoners talked about, thought while they were in the camp, writing and thinking of what would have been Great Britain after the war. The archives now are easy to reach, and there are a lot of documents to read. So I think if we carry on with the research, we'll learn a lot more, not only about the prisoners, but we'll learn more about Italy, the Italians, the prisoners, and maybe a new memory could be built, starting from the memory of the single prisoners of war.
Ok, so salutiamo tutti, quelli del Monte San Martino Trust. We cannot shake hands because of the coronavirus in these days, but hello everyone, thank you Marco. Grazie.
Thank you e grazie a tutti.
Ciao.
Arrivederci.
Ciao.